everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Sell More Book Show, episode 585. I'm Brian Cohen from Best Page Forward, joined by superstar British romance author Marissa Farrar. Oh, I messed it up. But Marissa, I'm so glad that you're here today. Thank you.
Hi, Brian. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. And even though I can't say your name, there are so many readers who are reading you from Amazon, from Shopify, from TikTok, from various places. Look, it's kind of one of those scary decisions, right? To diversify and not just focus on one platform. Like, at what point in your career were you like, I don't want just like one stream of income. I wanna try these other avenues.
Yeah. Well, the crazy thing is that I've been doing this for so long that when I started, Kindle Unlimited wasn't even a thing.
Love it.
When I first got going, it was just normal to have your books on multiple different platforms. So that kind of never really scared me so much.
Yeah.
Obviously, Kindle Unlimited now is huge, and I do make a big chunk of my money from it. But I still have wide books. As you said, I have Shopify, I have TikTok Shop. But it's always kind of been natural for me to have multiple different books on different sites. So it wasn't particularly scary.
That's awesome. I mean, so many authors came later. Look, I first published in 2010, like you published not too long after. It's like we've been in this, and it's like Kindle Unlimited wasn't even there for the first 5 or 6 years of this whole thing. And certainly before that, when people were just selling off their own websites to begin with. But then all these newer authors come in like 2017 onward, and it's like they think that this is the only way. I mean, do you think, like, this is almost like a random psychological question, but do you think it's like, do you think that there is a way for authors who like are certain, oh, this must be the way, or someone else did it this way, like clearing the deck is really hard. Like, how when an author that's like came there after you and after Kindle Unlimited came about, like, has anyone said like, oh, but I'm so scared to put this thing on Shopify?
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, for me, like, as I said, I still have lots of books on Kindle Unlimited. I'm not anti Kindle Unlimited in the slightest. But you can still diversify in a way that allows you to have your books on Kindle Unlimited. So, like, yes, I do have certain ebooks that are wide that I sell through my Shopify store. But for my Kindle Unlimited books, I can still have the audiobooks wide. I can still sell the paperbacks from my Shopify store. I can still sell the special editions from my Shopify store or TikTok Shop. So you can still diversify and have your books in Kindle Unlimited. You just have to be smart about it.
Yeah. No, I think that makes a ton of sense. The first time you ever bought more than 100 special editions to stock in your house or elsewhere, was that a scary purchase for you?
It was. I did 600 in one go.
Ooh, nice. And this is, I imagine, with sprayed edges and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. And I had them all delivered on pallets.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like all hands to deck to get them off the pallets, and I've basically got a stock room that I use. And yeah, that was a lot of books to to haul around. But they all sold, and I've had to order more. So
that's amazing. Well, we're going to talk about all these things and more over our 2 episodes together. But I'm really glad that you're here. We're going to have a lot of fun today. So I wanted to mention, and not everybody knows this, because Best Page Forward, we have a lot of things. And so our author ad agency that runs Amazon ads, and we're just a couple months away from running Facebook ads too, does have availability. You can go to learn.bestpageforward.net/VSL to find out a little bit more, or there's a note in the show notes if you can't remember all of that. You can even just email me, Brian@sellingforauthors.com, and say, hey, Brian, I don't want to run my Amazon ads anymore. I make over $6,000 a month, and so I qualify. How can I use you? And just email us, and we'll figure it out. We now have 7 account managers and 4 trainees.
Wow.
And so it's nuts. It's come a long way. It's very exciting.
I probably need to drop you an email because Amazon ads is my weakest link.
We are here, Marissa. We are here. We can absolutely talk about it. A couple of weeks ago, we had a question of the week. I'm gonna ask this to you too, Marissa. But our question of the week was, what's the worst thing in your author career that could happen, and how would you solve it? Kate Rauner said, imposter syndrome takes over. Solve it. Head down over to the keyboard and until some turn of phrase or such makes me smile. I like that, Kate. Albie Blazo Blake, and I'm not sure if that auto-corrected to something that isn't your name, Albie. Sorry about that. Said, quote, it already happened. My KDP account got terminated, but Brian and his team were able to get it back for me. We were very glad to help with that. I'm always happy to help with those sorts of things. They don't always listen to us, but we try. Don't hesitate. If you lost your KDP account, come reach out. We have an author we work with who have sold millions of books, and a bot still took down one of his books. And it's like, come on, Amazon, human connection. Beverly Powers said that I'd sell out of books at a book fair and I'm the keynote. So what she'd do is, that's the worst case. That's pretty good, Beverly. I'd offer a 10% discount for attendees to purchase my books and have them shipped. After I take my order, I go to my site and order books sold as well as extra books for my next upcoming event. I had that happen to a client. They just didn't get the books in time for a signing event. They took the pre-orders and they still did pretty well. Things happen. Marissa, what would your worst case scenario be and how would you solve it?
Well, I mean, you already mentioned 2 of them. So the first one being losing the KDP account.
Yeah.
A heart-stopping moment. But I also have a reoccurring dream that I'm going to turn up at a book signing and nothing's going to be there.
Oh no!
That is literally like my worst nightmare because I probably go to the toilets and have a little cry, and then I just have to pull myself together and kind of laugh and smile and best foot forward because what can you do about it? You can't. You're there. The readers are there. You just got to get on with things. But I mean, it hasn't happened to me yet, so fingers crossed.
Yeah,
it won't.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
You never know.
Good answer though. And hey, it's okay to have a little cry when something upsetting happens. Absolutely.
You just got to pull yourself together afterwards.
Yeah. That's all you can do. I think it goes to show. Look, you're a very successful author. You sold a lot of books. And you still have worries, and you still have fears, and you still have recurring nightmares, and we all have it. It doesn't really change. You just kind of get better at dealing with the fears. I think this was in a kids show that my daughter has watched, but you have to be scared to be brave.
Oh, very good.
Which I really like. Kids books and kids shows always have good phrases for that.
I'm past all that now. I've got teenagers, so
no more shows like that. Exactly. But folks, you can always answer the question of the week over at the Sell More Book Show After Party Facebook group or at the Sell More Book Show website. Let's go to the top story. This rank is rank. Amazon sales ranks are now being adjusted only once or twice per day, according to an update from Amazon KDP. According to the KDP Help Center's recent update, quote, rankings are updated at least once per day, but changes may take 1 to 3 days to appear, end quote. This is in sharp contrast to the hourly updates that book rankings got until recently, says Dale Roberts of the Self-Publishing with Dale podcast. One question that continues to come up is, how much does a book's rank generate sales? Or is its rank mostly a result of how many books are being sold? Some authors suggest that the lack of timely updates and the resulting lower rank is tanking their book launches or promotions. Others have shared that their recent launches have done just as well as previous ones, despite the lack of rank spikes seen in the past. Some authors have blamed the sales rank changes on lower book sales overall, claiming this is hurting all authors, but Amazon points out in their help page that rank is relative. quote, your sales rank can change even when your book's level of activity stays the same. For example, your rank may improve if other books see a decrease in activity, or your rank may drop if books see an increase in activity. We know Amazon. The good news, says Roberts, is that, quote, Amazon has always rewarded consistent performers, end quote, and suggests the updated rank system reflects that. Selling 100 books at 10 to 20 per day would weigh more heavily than 100 books all in a single day. And he says, quote, we can't do anything other than adjust course. Roberts suggests that promotional strategies might have to change, being stretched over days versus stacking all promos on 1 or 2 days. Quote, this change is going to show that consistent performers are going to rise to the top, end quote. Marissa, you told me that in a message that you had a launch this past Thursday, I think it was. Did this impact you?
I personally believe that it did. Yeah. So I released book 7 in a series, so it's co-author series.
Yep.
All the previous books have easily flown into the top 100. I think that one of them launched into like 114 in the Kindle store.
Yeah.
This one barely, I don't think it even broke the top 1,000. So it was a noticeable difference. I don't think it helped that we had the freeze on pre-orders also right before.
Yep, I remember that glitch too. Oh
so
my
that
goodness.
was also fun.
Oh.
And to be honest, considering the amount of sales and page reads we're getting, I still feel like it's not quite right.
Yeah.
But what can you do about it? There's absolutely nothing we can do. We've just got to change and evolve and figure out how to work with it.
Yeah, it's the tough thing is Amazon makes changes sometimes, but we're acting on the script of what we know works and how it works. And it's so hard to take weeks or months of planning and then change it to fit some new system that happened a week ago.
Yeah.
And so exactly. I feel really bad that you've been impacted by this. I've seen other authors impacted by it as well.
What we also found as well was because this is a long running series, normally when one of the books releases, it drags all of the books up into the top 50 for the so the genre that it's in.
Yeah.
But this time that didn't happen because it was so lagging that it didn't get the visibility that the new release normally gets, and so it didn't impact the other books at all. So overall, just the launch was very kind of meh, which is disappointing when you've obviously been working on a book for a long time, and we've got a really enthusiastic group of readers for this series.
Yeah.
And looking at the numbers aren't bad, but it's definitely not where we have been previously.
Right. And of course, everybody knows bank over rank, but rank impacts bank. And so to go into these hot potato wisdom questions, I mean, do you think that the new sales rank changes is going to change the strategies authors use to advertise, changing newsletters, changing social media posts? Do you think there's going to be a difference that has to happen there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to have to because we're going to have to look at, I think, advertising for longer before we launch. So setting up Facebook ads or Amazon ads, maybe 2-3 weeks before the launch happens so that we can at least try and get the rank up prior to that. I think the place where it's going to impact most and where it has impacted most is the shorter term advertising. So like I did a free book run not long ago. It was 5 days, first in series 3. And by end of day 3, end of day 4, something like that, it had only just flipped over to the free to the free rank. And then it went back to paid again. So
right.
Kind of like it barely got started and then it was over. So it was kind of like, well, how's this going to work if you're only doing something for a few days of a promo? It's just not.
Yeah, no, that's so tough. And I think today there's a glitch where free ranks and paid ranks are all mixed together. So there's
Doesn't surprise me.
There's always something. There's always something a
Yeah.
little bit crazy. But I think you're right. Strategies are absolutely going to need to change.
Yeah.
You've got a question for me.
Yes, yes. So I was thinking, so how do you think we should change our book launches now that the sales rank's different?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's going to need to be a change, and I think that we need to slow roll. We need to slow roll and soft launch more than we're used to. And so I think and I posted about this on social media, but we're used to on day one, especially for bigger launches, big ad spend on day one, big social media push on day one, and the email push on day one. We're used to all those things on day one. We need to spread it out.
Yeah.
Now, ideally, as you mentioned, doing some pre-order advertising ahead of time to get the rank so it's at a decent amount, even if we're maybe losing some money, getting it at a decent amount so that on launch day, and this is really hard for authors who aren't doing a pre-order at all, but getting it a little bit higher prior to the launch is key. But if, let's say, you're not doing a pre-order, you might want to spread all your promotion out over a week instead of having it all in a day. I'm talking about you push launch and you just tell your ARC readers so that they can go post some reviews, but don't tell anybody else. Day 2 or day 3, then maybe you email your list, but you don't even blast them all at once. You do it in segments. You segment your oldest readers and your newer readers and your newest readers maybe into multiple chunks so that you are hitting them over the course of 3 days. So you get a little bit more boost from that rather than it just drops immediately. And those 1 to 3 days, while you're kind of spreading these out, those 1 to 3 days Amazon says it might take, then that has fully come in. You have a legitimate sales rank at that point. Then social media push, big advertising buzz. But still, I would not do the big just drop a dump truck full of money on ads on day one. You're probably spreading out what you would have done on day one over the course of a few days and ramping up rather than ramping up at the beginning and trickling down. And so I absolutely am a big advocate for a soft launch where you don't even tell people about it. Get a sales rank established, run some light ads, spread your email list out. Then you can push harder because once you've started pushing, after a week or so, the rank is pretty reflective of things. We have seen books get into the top 100. We have seen books get into the top 500. But it's only happened through spreading out. And I think that until this changes, and it might change at some point again, until this changes, that's probably going to have to be the way we do this.
Yeah, that sounds really sensible. It's just frustrating, isn't it? Sort of what you want to tell everybody, and you've got to sit on your hands because
I
can't tell
know.
too many people.
I know. I know. I totally get it. But everyone will find out. Everyone who knows you will find out. And all the people who don't know you yet, they will find out.
Yeah.
It's just going to take a little longer. Deep breaths, everybody. Deep breaths, everybody. All right. Let's go into the lightning round here. Marissa, our favorite part of the show when our co-host does a lightning sound and causes themselves so much anxiety. All right. I'm ready for you. Go for it. Oh my gosh. I think we were all just shocked. I love it. That was awesome. Very exciting. Everyone's like, no, I was driving. All right. So, Marissa, how can authors who write in multiple genres simplify their marketing?
So when you say multiple genres, do you mean genres or different pen names or both?
Or both, anything in the above, whether it's the same name, just writing different subgenres, or different names, writing in completely different genres, whatever it means to you.
Okay, so I also, obviously I mainly write dark romance, but I also write in a pen name, crime and psychological fiction.
Yeah.
My tip would be to make those names as similar as possible so that you don't have to worry about replying from the wrong email or like using the wrong name sometimes. So I use obviously Marissa Farrar, my full name, for my romance, and then I use my initials for my crime. I also use the same MailerLite, so I just group my different readers into different groups so that I can use the same MailerLite. I think for anyone who's writing, say, like romance or different subgenres of romance, have a good think about whether you actually want to use different pen names for it, or if you can get away with just using the same name. Like for me, I started writing paranormal romance. That was where I started, and then it just gradually evolved into dark and then contemporary. And I've written some fantasy, I've written some sci-fi, and if I created a different pen name for all of those subgenres, I'd have probably lost my mind by now. So I know that I've got readers who love the contemporary and wouldn't touch the paranormal, and there's probably others that go the other way around. But for me, it's just been so much easier just keeping it all under one umbrella.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And yeah, I'm glad you didn't have 7 different pen names all said and done.
Me too. Me too. So I've got a question for you, Ryan.
Okay.
So how do you decide to write the book that you're most excited about versus the book that you can make the most money on?
So this is always one of the biggest challenges. I think that if you can find a book that you're excited to write that also happens to tick some of the boxes of what can be proven to have some semblance of profitability and popularity, so much the better. But sometimes you just need to write the story. Sometimes if you have a lot of joy around an idea and it isn't going to make you a lot of money, you just have to do it. I have this idea. I wanna do a Kickstarter at some point for self-publishing the musical, and it won't make me money, and it's gonna take a lot of time, but it would be so fun, and
Are
it
you
would
going to
be
be singing?
I absolutely have to be singing. I wouldn't give myself a big part though. Let's get a real person in there for that. But like, I want to do that at some point, but it's definitely not the thing that is going to make me money. But I've also made a lot of money. I have success already, and it's a lot easier to take on a passion project when you know the bills are going to be paid, when you know the people are going to be taken care of. So when you're first starting out, where are you at with your need? For how much do you need to be making money? Because it is often, not always, often harder to make money from the passion project if the genre research and the marketing research hasn't been done ahead of time. So I think you kind of decide based on where you are in your life, based on what you want to be doing, based on would you still be happy if you wrote the joyful thing and it made you no money? And if the answer is no, then you might want to consider, well, can you pivot to something that has a better opportunity to make money?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
It's not easy.
No.
It's not an easy decision to make. So Marissa, you write dark romance. What are your best tips for marketing or promoting darker romance or reverse harem books?
It has to be TikTok.
Tell me more.
TikTok. I know people have a love-hate relationship with TikTok, but I personally love TikTok.
Oh, that's good.
I have several accounts. I now have PAs who have accounts for me.
Yeah.
I found through TikTok and also running TikTok shop that I have got such a deeper connection with my readers now. Because it just feels like I'm interacting with them all the time.
Right.
And when you get those TikToks that do well, they can literally transform your business. Like, I believe in advertising in general. I always have ads running. But if you can get that combination of a TikTok doing well, plus ads running in the background, then it can literally project your book into the top 100.
There really is nothing like it.
Yeah, especially for that genre. It's where all the readers are. It's, there's rabid readers literally flicking through TikTok wanting to see about your book. So, you have to be on there. And you don't have to, but it's a good idea to be on there if you're writing that genre.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Thank you for that advice.
That's okay.
Right, ready for the next question.
So obviously with reverse harem, it is quite difficult to advertise, especially with Amazon. Have you got any sneaky tips that you can let us know where we could run ads to dark romance on Amazon?
I do have sneaky tips. So
Excellent.
I've got to give a hat tip to Lisa Vino here, who was really talking about this strategy at one of our recent retreats in North Carolina. We're doing another one in November. If anyone is a 6 or 7 figure author who wants to come to North Carolina, hang with me and Lisa Vino and Heather Hildenbrand, come on down in November. But so this suggestion was having a box set of a certain number of books in the series that does not mention the reverse harem elements. That just essentially markets it as dark romance, doesn't have the things that would be banned in the titles, doesn't have any of that in the title or the blurb. Just it's in the content of the book. Now, look, Amazon does sometimes block based on content of a book, but usually if you don't have any red flags in title, subtitle, book cover, blurb, keywords, categories. Like I even suggest that those authors don't put the harem books in polyamory romance, just to avoid every opportunity there, and have more of an object cover than a sexy cover. These things have really helped. I will mention my wonderful friends in sports romance as well. Amazon knows that pucking means something else. So if you do a box set, I know. If you do a box set for your sports romance, you will have to avoid mentioning that word as well. Silly enough. But we have had some authors try this strategy out, and I think it's a really good way to get more eyeballs on those books. Plus, because it's a box set, you can have a lot of KU pages in those collections.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So I've got a RH box set that I'm planning on launching hopefully later in the year when the audiobooks are done. So yes, I might have to try that out.
You might want to think about it. Because look, it's a risk, right? Obviously, people won't necessarily know it's harem right from the get-go unless they already know the series. But you get to find new readers.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised the number of people that go, I've never read one before, but I absolutely loved it. And I always think, go pop their reverse harem cherry.
That's awesome. That's so cool. To get to be the first author they read in that genre is really
cool. Definitely.
All right. Last question of the lightning round. To change course a little bit. What's something you notice that new authors overthink or spend too much time or money on?
Getting their early books to sell.
Tell me more.
I think when you're a new author, you've got so much learning and evolving and developing to do. And if you get stuck on why isn't this book selling? What am I doing wrong? Rather than just trying again.
Yeah.
You're wasting your own time. Like you might as well figure out what's gone wrong by trying again, by writing a different book, by tweaking it in different ways, by learning something else. I mean, some people do amazingly with their first books, and and great, but that doesn't always happen. And God, I can't even tell you how many books I wrote before I eventually hit one that was selling. It was a lot, and I went through probably 2 or 3 different genres before I found one that was working for me. So I'd just say, keep writing, write the next book. Don't worry too much about how the old ones are performing, and just keep going. Learn from other people, and yeah.
I love that answer. I agree with you so wholeheartedly. I feel like I tell authors this all the time, so thank you for that answer.
Yeah.
All right. We need a question of the week. I have a feeling, Marissa, that we should ask about the sales rank thing.
That makes sense.
So, do you have a particular question you'd want to ask with that, or should I just yank it out?
I'd just say, how has it affected you?
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen any difference in if you've had a book launch, if you've had a promotion, how has it affected your money? How has it affected your rank? Just so we can get a better idea, really, of what people are seeing out there.
I like that. How has the sales rank change impacted you and your books? I'll also add a little bit. And what do you plan to do about it?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Y'all, you can answer the question of the week over at the Sell More Book Show After Party Facebook group, sellmorebookshow.com, as well as another place that you can answer it. Everyone should check out Melissa. Now I'm going to just call you every wrong name. Marissa Farrar. You can go check out her books at marissafarrarbooks.com. And maybe that could be your first reverse harem book or first dark romance book that you read. You could go check that out there. Marissa, I have been so happy to have you on the show this week.
Thank you so much. It's been fun.
You're welcome. Awesome. Well, you'll be back next week, folks. I really, really appreciate you listening. If you have not posted a review over on Apple Books, on the Apple Podcast page, or on Spotify or somewhere, feel free, even if I don't pronounce people's names right. If you want to give us a 5-star anyway, you can. But thank you again to Marissa. I hope everyone has a great week of book selling, everybody. And we'll be back next week for episode 586. Bye, everyone.
Bye.